Michael, welcome to the Trail Chasers. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, so let's kick things off. So, who are you? What do you do? And what is RMB if people do not know or they've been living under a rock?
Thanks, Dean, and thanks so much for having me. It's a privilege. And yeah, I think who are you is the toughest questions one can possibly answer. But yeah, so Michael Edwards, I work at RMB. I've been here for the past 2 years. RMB is a leading corporate investment bank. And for those that aren't aware, as you say, living under a rock. And I think I look after our sponsorship portfolio. I'm the sponsorships marketing lead at RMB. And what that entails is really connecting our brand with other like-minded organizations, events, and brands that we believe in, and building partnerships that are mutually beneficial to both parties.
And then I guess the next question is, what is a bank doing getting involved in trail running?
It all started with Ultra Trail Cape Town. Actually, before my time here, I happened to be on the start line that year, but not working for the bank yet. RMB identified Ultra Trail Cape Town, what is now RMB Ultra Trail Cape Town, as an incredible platform to align our brand to. It was not just a local leader on the trail running front, but an international leader. In fact, Stuart from RMB Ultra Trail Cape Town is currently on a Connecting Communities tour in the US, and I think it holds huge international appeal because of where it is, because of the community, and because of the trails on which it takes part. I think for us, trail running, for a number of reasons, was attractive. It is what I often term a white space in the sponsorship world. A lot of your mainstream sports, your crickets, your soccers, netball, hockey, etc., it's a lot of media attention, and therefore a lot of investment follows suit. And I think we identified trail running as a rapidly growing sport, not just in South Africa, but across the world, would see benefit from investment from a title partner like RMB. And we've seen that over the past 3 years, how we've been together with the team at Ultra Trail Cape Town to really grow the event and grow the sport. And I think it was an opportunity for us to do that in a space where not a lot of people were playing. And lastly, I would just say there's so many attributes of trail running that also sit and really resonate nicely with RMB as a bank. And it's trail running is, and as I know personally too, it's an event that is a sport that is hugely built around community. It's grit, it's built on resilience, and it's built on making things happen in very special spaces. One thing I left off there is that it's also, to that end, it's a sport unlike your soccers and rugbys of the world, where its stadium is some of South Africa's most iconic landscapes. And you talk about RMB Ultra Trail Cape Town, Table Mountain, it's an icon of South Africa, and it's a very special place that warrants preservation and eyeballs and awareness. And similarly, RMB Ultra Trail Drakensberg. Drakensberg is one of the greatest ranges in the world, let alone South Africa. And those are very special locations and environments for us to be affiliated to.
And what is the selection criteria around like the races that you get involved in?
It started with RMB Ultra Trail Cape Town, which we identified as a leader in the space. If you've been there, which I know you have, it's just difficult to describe how incredible that space is, both from a physical environment perspective, but also from a community. You can't bottle the feelings you get at RMB Ultra Trail Cape Town. And then it was a very natural transition for us to include RMB Ultra Trail Drakensberg into the mix, not least of which because it's partly owned and managed by the same event organizers and summit events. So it was a very natural transition for us to say, let's do more together and let's build this partnership. But also, again, to my earlier point, it was like now celebrating and doing good work on an icon that is Table Mountain. What's next? Well, Drakensberg is one of South Africa's most precious environmental pieces of heritage. And then more recently, RMB Run for Rivers, the newest addition to our portfolio, was frankly a very easy yes, in that it's a partnership that, much like the other two, has an incredibly purpose-driven narrative. And it does what is on the tin. We are running for rivers. A huge portion of the proceeds are going towards the Banhoek Conservancy to manage the trails, clear alien vegetation. I can get into that a little bit more later, but all of it just felt like a very organic growth for us, as well as starting to diversify some of our geographic distribution so that we can also, because I think part of sponsorships that I didn't mention in the first place was also for us to engage and entertain and network and build relationships with our clients in unique environments and unique settings. What better way than to send a client on 100 miles around Cape Town to build a strong bond and a relationship?
Hopefully they'll still be your client afterwards. And it feels a little bit different with the Run for Rivers compared to UTCT and UTB, in that more, I guess you got a bit more of an ownership stake in it. So has there been a shift in strategy, or was it just kind of like it came up and you saw the opportunity?
the opportunity came up, and as I said before, it was very difficult to say no to, because it had such a strong purpose-driven element. It was an opportunity, to your point, maybe not so much an ownership stake, but we're starting at ground zero together with Plaisir, who's ultimately Plaisir and Banhoek are the primary partners with which we're working for RMB Run for Rivers. And when you're starting at ground zero together, you've got a fantastic opportunity to shape the event together and to have more influence into what the event looks like and how you can, learning a few of the learnings that we've taken from RMB Ultra Trail Cape Town and RMB Ultra Trail Drakensberg, taking some of those learnings and applying them to RMB Run for Rivers. It's not the same event, and we love it for that. It still speaks to a trail running audience, but it's strenuous. The longest run we've got at RMB Run for Rivers is 21 kilometers, so 140 kilometers less strenuous than the milers of either of those other two routes. And I think for us, it's more of a social gathering, and probably now's a good time to say it, but next year this will be coupled with RMB Simonsberg Wine Festival on the 1st of March. And so there you've got an amazing festival of trail running and wine that I think is quite unique to the country and to the sport. I like to say, come and join us for a run and beautiful Plaisir wine afterwards, but it's going to be special. And so it's different, and different for all the right reasons. And I think it's going to have a unique feel, which is also important when you look at our portfolio holistically.
You have obviously touched a little bit on it. In a nutshell, what is Run for Rivers?
There's 4 race distances, and I use the word race distance quite loosely with the last race, which I'll get to. But it's a 21 kilometer, and do not get me wrong when I say it's not as hardcore as your Ultra Trail Drakensbergs or Cape Town. It's going to be pretty brutal. And it's about 800 meters of elevation gain on the 21 kilometer. It's an up and down route. You get to the top, you summit, and you come bombing back down the other side. Then we've got a 10 kilometer route, and we've got a 5 kilometer route. And why I use the term race lightly on the last race is that it is a 1 to 2 kilometer wine walk. For those of you that don't necessarily want to do the running, but more just enjoy the environment and go for a nice stroll and have some wine, then that wine walk's for you. And I think on the 10 kilometer and the 21 kilometer, there is a unique water station, and that water station will be filled with Plaisir bubbles. So for those of you not gunning for a time, there's an opportunity to stop there, soak in the beautiful view, hoping the weather plays ball, and really sip on a glass of beautiful bubbles on your way in. And then, and I think the most unique draw card for the 21 kilometer is that this partnership was quite literally building a new and exclusive trail going up to the Banhoek of the Simonsberg Mountain that is exclusive to this race only. So we've got exclusive use of that trail for the next 3 years, and that might resonate quite strongly with trail runners. And trail runners, they all are looking for something unique, something challenging. It's crazy to think in this day and age, but we have explored so many of our paths and trails in this country. And when an opportunity arises where you can do something unique that no one's ever run before, you're going to attract people wanting to run fastest known times there. It's all very exciting. So don't get me wrong, the 21 kilometers is brutal, but it does certainly cater for all walks of life. Newbie trail runners as well as experienced trail runners across the 4 race distances.
Are you looking to attract elites and have a race format as well as the more general back of the packers, or is it just the back of the packers chilled run?
Good question. I think the jury's out. I think we won't know until we see who shows up on the start line on Sunday, the 22nd of June. In principle, when we built this partnership, we have, and there are more than enough opportunities for elite runners and those really at the top of the field to show their skills and show their talent and qualify for international races, whatever it is that they're after. And I don't think this is necessarily that. It's a new place to experience trails, a slightly new region to go running in. And I think what we'll find is that this will become more of a social festival type run with sprinklings of elite runners looking to really push themselves. From a time of year perspective, like I said, it's going forward, it'll be in March. So that also plays into who will show up between March and June. But I think we're hopeful for a good mix. You don't introduce 21 kilometer with 800 plus meters of elevation gain without attracting some seriously strong runners. But also the views up there, and I've had the privilege of running it myself, are absolutely mind-blowing. And so from that perspective, you're also going to attract people who just are perhaps new to trail or run trail to really look up and birdwatch and soak in the views and have some fun. So I think it caters to all. And going forward, we're looking at introducing a much longer route. Hopefully in March 2026, we'll be introducing an additional race with a very interesting format that'll take us on, again, some more beautiful trails that might attract a different bunch of runners.
Amazing. And when you say run for rivers, what are the rivers that you're running for? What is the conservation? We've touched on generally, but what is the kind of conservation message behind it? Where's the money going? What are we actually trying to do here?
Again, good question. And our proceeds, RMB's proceeds, are going directly to Banhoek Conservancy, as I mentioned earlier. And so it's a tri-party agreement between ourselves, Plaisir, and Banhoek to really maintain, preserve, conserve, and ensure the long-term sustainability of the rivers and the streams. The owner of the farm is phenomenally well-versed in all the fauna and flora and the impact that has. It'd be great to get her on this next time we have a chance to chat. But really, a lot of that comes down to the clearing of alien vegetation. So that's much of the work that's been done over the past few months building up to race day. Because when you clear that alien vegetation, you allow the Cape fynbos, which is also an absolute icon, environmental icon of South Africa, to thrive, which then in turn ultimately allows the rivers and streams to thrive. And so water, is there a more important conversation or point in the world than water? We all are absolutely so critically reliant on this stuff. It does multiple jobs, including that of the preservation of our flora, really fueling communities, fueling industry, fueling economy in the area. And so it's the start of hopefully many years to come in ensuring the long-term sustainability of the rivers, waters, streams in the Simonsburg region.
Incredible. And what else can people expect on race day? You know, entertainment, food, what's going to be on offer?
Yeah, so lots of good food and drink vendors. People that have been to any RMB events before will know and recognize our RMB water bar, which will be there. We work with a brand called 50% Human there to really craft the water for runners both pre, during and after the race. We've got some great partners in the form of Ciavita and Spall coming on board, so there's product from both of them to trial and test. Again, if you've been to any RMB event previously, we've become quite synonymous and you won't be disappointed with an RMB cowbell. So every runner will be getting an RMB Run for Rivers cowbell, which is a noise synonymous with the mountains. And we will tweak them every year to ensure that they become a collectible. And I think we've got them at RMB Ultra Trail Cape Town and Ultra Trail Drakensberg, and absolutely looking forward to introducing them at RMB Run for Rivers. Another familiar voice for any trail runners out there will be Sean Robson on the mic. Who'll be emceeing the morning for us, ensuring there's such a good vibe throughout the day. And then we've got live music and DJs also going on throughout the days. And wine specials, burger specials from Plaisir. It's like you asked earlier, even if you aren't running, it should be an absolutely incredible experience for spectators, for families, and really just looking forward to it. It should be a good vibe.
And I guess, as you said, this is your first event. What does success look like for this event? Is it money raised? Is it people attending? What are you measuring it on?
Yeah, so a couple of things. First and foremost, it's a line in the sand for us on which to build. I mean, I think the interesting thing with any event, let alone trail event, is it's difficult to describe unless you've been there. And so there's a lot of video and photo and stories and word of mouth that'll come off the back of this event that'll fuel the event in future years. So I think, quite frankly, we're happy with where we're at for this year's edition. And we know and we're very confident that it's going to build into something absolutely epic. So success for us is that people have a phenomenal time on the trails. Success is that they then go and tell their friends that this is an event that they absolutely cannot miss. Success is the long-term sustainability of the fauna and flora and rivers on the mountain. I think going forward, our proceeds will continue to go to trail maintenance, clearing of alien vegetation, because success for me too is also, I'm a new dad, and success for me is that my girls can enjoy the same trails that I'm currently enjoying 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now. That's success. And that success comes with long-term partnership, which is, speaking of partnership, success is long-term partnership. If this does, and we're confident this will be a long-term partnership, success is building a sustainable and mutually beneficial partnership between ourselves, Banhoek Conservancy and Plaisir for many years to come.
Yeah. And going forward, what does the future look like? I don't know how much of the 2026 you can touch on. And then obviously broader vision. Are we going to see more events like this from RMB? Or is it more like you're looking at kind of traditional events to support and sponsor?
Yeah, another good question. And I think going forward, as there's not just trail running events, but are running events every single weekend of the calendar. It's an incredibly convoluted calendar. It's very busy. I'm all here for it. I think the growth of the sport is good for everyone involved, all the partners. We see the rapid commercialization of the sport, not just in South Africa, but internationally. And long story short, I don't think we'll necessarily go out of our way to expand the portfolio. All these races that we've got organically came about just that way. They came about organically. And I think we're quite comfortable with the portfolio that we have. We've got two absolute icons of the trail running scene internationally in UTCT and UTD. And we've got this beautiful Run for Rivers property that long may it grow and long may it last. RMB, of course, is not only involved from a sponsorship perspective in trail running, perhaps probably the most new and novel of our properties that we have, but it extends to the arts, it extends to music, it extends to rowing, and we're growing that sponsorship portfolio as and where it makes sense, both for us as a brand, but also creating assets that are attractive for a very diverse client base. And we're sitting on a portfolio where we can offer both to the public and to our clients a ticket to something that they really want to go to, and an experience that they will absolutely really enjoy, which RMB holds quite a high standard for.
And then going forward with that 2026 event, what are we looking forward to? What are you looking to build on from this year?
Build on is the key word. I think we don't know in year one. And I think we're going to take a lot of learnings and we welcome feedback off year one because we want to grow this thing together. As I alluded to earlier, we are hoping in that more, weather-friendly time zone of March 2026, we are hoping to introduce a longer run than the 21 in a very unique format, which I'll keep my cards close to my chest for now. But we're very excited about what we can do on that Simonsberg mountain range and on the neighboring farms with a longer event, which will attract a whole another crop of people and a whole other crop of athletes, which is quite exciting. So really just banking on a successful year one, taking on learnings and feedback and building it, inviting more partners into the ecosystem. I think that's also quite powerful and something we actively look out for in our partnerships is when you bring a partner on board, 1 + 1 is not 2, as cliched as that may sound. It's critical from both a credibility and an ability to build the event, to invite like-minded brands and organizations into the ecosystem so that you can build this thing together.
And in terms of ticket sales and things like that, are tickets still on sale? Can people buy on the day? Talk to me a little about that.
Tickets are still on sale. Tickets close Thursday 19th midnight, but there will be some limited ticket sales available on the day. We've got fantastic numbers signing up, a lot trickling in the last week. I think people wake up and look at the trail running calendar or the running calendar and realize there's a cool thing happening on this weekend and then sign up. So we've got a nice distribution of athletes and entrants across all the distances. Yeah, absolutely. Tickets still available Thursday and tickets will be open on the day. Registration. The first race kicks off at 8 a.m. Registration opens at 7 a.m. So you can still rock up on the day and get your ticket.
And lastly, will we be seeing you on the start line of any of the races?
Unfortunately not this year. I sit in a position of privilege across a lot of our sponsorship assets where I'm actively involved and or love what I do. And trail running, probably the best example of that. I've been trail running for about 8 years. I'm working my way through every RMB Ultra Trail Cape Town distance, and maybe one day I'll get through every RMB Ultra Trail Drakensberg distance, but that's going to be a slow journey. And great. Exactly. That's what they keep doing to me. I keep running a race and then they introduce new ones, adding a year onto my trail running career.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm very excited. I'm definitely going to come through. Haven't decided yet if I'm going to run or if I'm just going to come through and check the vibe, but I'm very excited for it. And thanks for joining me.
Amazing. Thanks, Dean. I feel like I should force you to run, but I can't quite do that. But I hope to see you there regardless. And I hope if you do take part, I would suggest the 10 kilometer. It's going to give you a little bit of extra height, which, as you know, in trail running, gives you a little bit of extra view. And you're also going to get a little bit of extra bubbly at the top there.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dean. Cheers, eh?
Cheers. Bye.